Hi, Hopkinton. Yeah, I believe it. I think they want to keep it to a close community. I don't want everybody knowing. The people that know already is enough, probably. Howdy, Rowdy, and Leslie. Welcome, guys. Guess we're stuck with that. I think that was a little more in a category 1. A lot of storm chasers were saying the same thing. They were like, this doesn't seem like a category 1 to me. You could have moved the trailer before the storm. Oh, cool. Thanks, YouTube. Always got to pop an ad in on my intro. They should be thankful I make revenue for them. Take a last sip of water. This hurricane caused a bunch of tornadoes today too, so there were tornado outbreak due to this hurricane as well. Alright, almost done here. All right, howdy folks, welcome back. I told you I would be back. Back with a vengeance. All right, so here we are. Let me get this started and loaded up here. While we're doing that, I take a moment to thank you all for taking a moment of your precious time to be here with this precious family. If you have been through this whole report and made it through the spiritual report at the end, and you understand this is a family, then you understand how precious this family is and how precious you are to me. Okay? A lot of precious in there. Okay, so here we go. This is July 8th, 2024. Here's your loop plan. Not much. Got this little thing right here, a couple of little vehicles or something there. That'll be interesting to take a peek at, don't you think? Because they didn't look like our normal activity, did they? So, shall we go see what happened? What? You don't want to? Well, we're going to take a peek anyway. Okay. There we go. Interesting, whatever's going on here. Looks to be a little configuration of objects, maybe along with some kind of disc shape, something. I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that as well. Let's do a little of this, though. Right before. Just different. Almost looks like, that tight configuration almost looks like it might be. Sorry, the screen's jumping, but otherwise I have to zoom out and do all that. That's a good frame right there. You can clearly see we have a bunch of round little objects right here, okay? Whatever's going on in this big circular, looks like a ship, kind of. Anyways, there's something else out here as well. You can see something hanging out right there. So, quite the strange little event we got going on there. Let me go ahead and put this into motion while zoomed in. Whoa, come back. Let me slow that down a little bit. I'll let that play for a second there. Let's slow it down just one more click right there. I'll let you guys be the judge. You should come over here to this instrument and mess around with it as well. Sorry, the side turned blue there, but yeah, that looks a little fishy to me. Hey, it looks like a fish, like a big old sunfish type thing. A little fishy. Looks like a train. A train has been part of this theme. One of my nightmares is involves a train. Look at that. It's very interesting. Let's let it play one more time. Because the motion that kind of paints it too. If I went back and went frame by frame, maybe we should go in just a tad tighter too. Go like that. Definitely something different going on. We can say that. It's not our typical what we're used to seeing. Okay. Also, just right before the event, you'll notice something kind of coming in here, approaching the sun from the south when this loop starts over again here. Right there. Don't be surprised if you see an object that has this kind of shape or something seen in the next week or so, captured in the skies or in the clouds, something that looks like that. Because lately, when we have these, well, for lack of a better term, ships or craft that interact with the sun here, they end up showing up here on Earth and causing all kinds of, well, I see them cloaked in the clouds. I've captured a couple cloaked in the clouds. Wouldn't be surprised to see that thing over my house here pretty soon. Okay, so there's our our activity for today. The rest of the activity here, we'll even kind of pan over and pull back just a little bit. There was some other stuff here. We got this long spire coming out right here. Whatever, there's something in front of that one too. So that was about all of our activity. It's that event right there. But quite the it looks like Millennium Falcon mixed with like Buck Rogers rocket, and even has like a little fin sticking up on the back of it or something. I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that. You can come over here to this instrument as well and look at it. Yeah, there's something going on there. All right. And they've already admitted UFOs exist, blah, 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 blah. Everybody just swept it right under the rug. 20 years of research. I couldn't wait for the day that they finally admitted that it was real, because I had been experiencing it my whole life and I knew it was real. But when they would finally admit it, when they did, it was like a mouse fart. Everybody kind of yawned and, oh, yeah. And they swept it under the rug and moved on. There's a lot of explaining that goes along with that. You hear that, that could explain some of this activity, and, they just kind of left it really broad and wide open. Well, I can tell you that it's real, and this looks like it's some kind of UFO activity to me. All right, let's get over here to our solar report now. I'm just going to zoom on into our GOES X-ray flux. For those of you that were looking forward to a show last night, I'm sorry I couldn't do it. Plus, we had the hurricane going. Plus, there were probably 50 people live last night, too. So, it just wasn't working. All three came together, and I'm like, I'm not doing a show tonight. Plus, there wasn't much activity. This little yellow band right here, this long duration event, doesn't even show up as much on the chart either, on the satellite. So pretty much just what we looked at is this right here. We can go into tomorrow. There's one little spike, but it doesn't look like much. And I don't think this thing's even close to being close to being ready. Let's see. See, that's still missing right there. Let's give it a refresh. Yeah, we still don't have any data from the 9th. So moving on, there's your little event. We'll probably see some kind of little activity or something pop out of the sun there, but getting a little bumpy now. We came out of that smooth period. It's starting to get a little bumpier here and here and here. Getting a little smooth right there. That's good. But all in all, our solar flux indice is 169. It's down 2 points. We're still in the yellow range, but at least it's dropping a little bit and not climbing. Sunspot number count is way down. We're at 90 now. We lost another 29 sunspots, and the area way down at 470. So we don't really have too much to be concerned about there. Let me just kind of see if I can get some of this, please, Lord. While zoomed in. What are you doing? Okay. So, one more time. Oh, we got a movie now. 14-second movie. There we go. We had this little region right here that's kind of rotating into view. I don't want the movie, dude. I want the actual. Thank you. All right, there we go. This is the one I'm kind of concerned about. We got our beta gamma configuration going on here. If it gets any closer, we could get a delta configuration going on as well, and then that thing will be able to pump out X flares. But meanwhile, everything else that was on the side here has now cleared the limb, so we're all good there. All right. I need to zoom back out now. All right, so all in all, our geomagnetic forecast, all clear for the next 3 days, okay? X flare potential 5%, M flare potential 40. Here's the one sunspot. It's beta gamma and growing, so that's the one we're going to watch. Here's the 3738. Right now, our auroras are down. Our KP index down to 2. But look at this. This little spike right here, this little clump, and this clump right here. We weren't expecting anything on the 7th. And on the 7th, we had boom, boom, boom. All right, it's not much, but I have a feeling that that might be a little residue of our object interacting with the magnetic field. Okay, it's not much. It's sideswiped. Remember, the CME would have sideswiped us, so that probably would have been this little part, and then the object follows right there. So I think we saw a little register of our event. Okay, now it wasn't a G1 or anything like that, so it stayed a G0. But as we look on this, you can see that we had 2 little impacts right here, this first 2, and then this impact right there. So I have a feeling that's our indicators that our object passed and it didn't interact too much. That's good. I will take that any day. I don't want those things brushing up too close to us. That'll be it. Remains of, okay, so this is to July 8th. All right, so the remains of AR 37, 12, and 13 continue to turn back into view, and they both decayed heavily while on the far side of the sun. Despite this, occasional C flares and one low-level M flare were detected around the above M 5.0 threshold is likely more than lower than what we may have otherwise been expecting. All right, that's our one that we were just looking at right there. So 3738 is currently the largest sunspot region on the visible disk and will remain a threat for the isolated M flare. If they get any closer and we get the delta configuration, that'll be the X flare. Not much to look at on a tracker tonight, so we're just going to get on over here. Quick little mention of this, a potentially large sunspot group is hiding just behind the sun's southeast limb. It's the big dark spot in this heliospheric map. We can look at that in a second. The active region will rotate onto the Earth side of the sun early this week. Okay, so here we go. We got that one that's already facing us, and then we got another active region will rotate on the Earth side early this week. So here we go. Let's look at the heliospheric map real quick. This big old black patch right here. So here's the little group that we were looking, or maybe even here. One of these, I think it's this one, is the group we were just looking at. And then just behind the limb of the sun is this big old monster coming. So we'll have to, we'll be watching closely. I'll probably be reporting bunch of flares or something when this thing happens, or if it happens. Okay, now where are we here? Go back. All right, cool. What the sun did to this comet's tail, undulating like that, kind of looks like a dragon. What just happened to the comet Olbers? A gust of solar wind hit it. Dawn of June, Lake California, photographed 13P Olbers on the 4th of July and found its tail twisted into a corkscrew shape. The sun is having fun with this comet. Okay, almost like a helix, almost like a DNA helix. A corkscrew twisted into a corkscrew shape. Pretty cool. You can go read more about that. All sorts of great other events happening there. I'm more concerned with this. All right, here we go. Now, yesterday we had quite a little event right here. All right, and a secondary one. Here's today. It's been a lot smoother today, thankfully. This day was not pretty. Anyways, we also had so we get this fluctuation in our Schumann. The 7.83 is the dynamo inside the Earth that's spinning around, and it emanates a frequency. It goes up through the magma, up through the crust, and emanates from the surface of the Earth outward into space, but it hits the ionosphere. The ionosphere is this magnetically charged field around the Earth. It hits that and bounces back down as an echo, and this detects the echoes. And our 7.83 is this nice smooth green line. We want to see one smooth green line. Does this look smooth? No. So we've been on a roller coaster ride the last couple of days. Probably some of you have felt this or detected it. Maybe even your animals are acting a little strange, but as your core and the shell grinding together, pressure is built up down below, start grinding. We have a quick little buildup of pressure, and then it tapers off. Then we have a good little pressure, and then a quick release. Quick buildup of pressure with a quick release. And smooth, whoops, buildup of pressure, quick release. These two spikes right here boom, boom. Either like the CME and then the object right behind it, most likely. Okay, the CME, then the object, because usually the object doesn't show up. It doesn't beat the actual CME here. So, a little double impact right there. Whoops, 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 whoops. Man, caused double impact grinding down below. Now we came out of that and we're starting to build pressure. You can see it just about to start grinding here. You can see little squeaks and pops right here. We're right on the verge of that barrier between the core and the shell. The boundary has tightened up. It's a very, very close. It's like, millimeters or a millimeter away from grinding. And then we come out of it, pressure starts to build. We have a little release somehow. And then we get normal activity, gets really weak right there. See that one stripe right there? There was a really weak field. Then we kind of come back to normal again. So over the last 48 hours here, you have been on a gnarly roller coaster ride. Whether you know or not, you have. Okay, I have. But let's stick with this. Oh boy. So we see pressure buildup, releases like this. So we see earthquake activity, volcanoes, also SO2 emissions, relieving pressure. So we're going to come on over here. Let's change this up first and do our regular style report. Hello? What's wrong with it? All right. No, I really messed it up. What happened here? There we go. We might be experiencing some technical difficulties due to man versus man, if you know what I mean. All right, so here's our upper jet stream. This is closest to the ionosphere, further out, right? And it controls a lot of the weather. You see intense little pockets here and there, and it usually directs our weather patterns. Okay. Here's a correlating lower jet stream that usually the storms ride these currents. These are like rivers of air that pick up storms and direct them. But that's not the case anymore. Actually, we are seeing a little bit of correlation now. Whoa, wait a second. That correlation's... No way. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. Okay, okay, so we got our weather right now, and we got our hurricane coming up through here. We've seen it pumping out a bunch of tornadoes and stuff today. Okay, there was a huge outbreak because of all the moisture that this brought in. Some fairly decent sized tornadoes doing a lot of damage today too. So not just the hurricane with storm surge and everything, when it moves inland, it spurs tornadoes and stuff too. Ooh, how am I gonna do that? Let's skip this for a minute. I gotta skip that for a minute. I can't focus on that. Let's do SO2 real quick here. Take off the wind. All right, so here we are, country divided here. Ooh, it's starting to lighten up a little bit, a little patchier, not so solid. There we go. I'm not trying to darken it up and do it. I want to just right, so it does it justice. So it is lightening up through this area right here. Now that could be due to floodwaters or whatever. You can see some of the patches here, but boom, basically country cut in half. Bam. These little patches are due to like flooding, flash flooding, plugs up the holes and perforations in the ground. Okay. Used to be 4 little dots right along the Sierras, and everybody around the world flipped out, thought it was going to be the big one. Now we got millions of dots all over the world, and we got activity goes way up in here into Canada, but for right now, the flooding has kind of like blocked it up a little bit. This causes fires as well. I've shown you that before. Here's Mexico's kind of doing all right. Jamaica still got a dark patch coming down the coast here. Not too bad right now. Usually this one's really dark and defined, and it's not. This one appears is darker and more defined than our fulcrum point one. That tells me we've had a little shift of pressure, maybe. A little magma shift down below, maybe pushing a little higher, pushing more pressure out of this one, obviously. So, but we go down here and you see we got this whole plume going on that relieves a lot of pressure along that fault line. Let's come on over here. Oh, stop off in Hawaii. Okay, so Oahu doing well, pumping out most of the SO2 in this region. Doing most of the work for the hub of the wheel. Still some coming out of Maui and Hawaii. This plume actually looking a little stronger coming out of Hawaii. So it looks like we've had a little increase in pressure, maybe. Well, we know we did because we saw the Schumann as well. So, okay, good. So here we are over at China. They still have their issues. You can see all these dark patch regions and stuff. I don't know. It's not even go there tonight. Right now, we got Taiwan still emitting a lot of SO2, so there's a lot of pressure in that region. Usually it's just a little bit at the tip, and we'll see on the thermals tonight how much it's increased. Okay. So there's Taiwan, our little relief valve. You can see Japan has emissions of its own. It's a volcanic island system. These dark patches up in here are kind of getting strong again up in Russia there. Should I do the fires? Now, these emissions come out of the ground really hot, okay, thousands of degrees, and they're so hot that they spark the surrounding vegetation spontaneously combust. So this hot gas coming out of the ground sparks fires. A lot of these people thought the fires are coming from the DEW weapons or directed energy weapons, whichever you want to. And no, they're not. They're coming from underground. Have you seen these fires, these trees that are burning from the inside out? That's fire sparked from underground. The root system actually catches on fire first and smolders really slowly and burns the roots out, and then that smoldering reaches the cone-shaped underside of the tree root structure. If you ever seen a bottom side of a root structure of a tree, it's conical with like a cone shape, like a funnel almost, and that heat gets funneled to the middle where the trunk of the tree catches on fire from the inside out. Houston, we have a problem. I had this problem for a while. Anyways, let's take the fires off. Now, let's get over to the ocean thing. Is that what we're going to do next? No, particulates. I want the air. 850. Okay, good. Particulates now. Sandstorm. Thank you. All right, here we go. So our sandstorm lately has been the factor, the driving factor in reducing our hurricane production. The conveyor belt that we have going on right now should be producing one after another, after another, after another, especially with the heat signatures that we have in the water. All right, it's just begging. And with that first one that went through, I thought, uh-oh, here we go. If that one made it through, the rest can too. But luckily, it drew out enough sand that it quelled the second one. This would be the second one right here. This would be the second storm, third storm, fourth storm right here. And they're all these are storms. They just picked up a bunch of sand and they're not going full convection, which helps hamper the hurricane genesis. But thankfully, the sandstorm's doing its effect, but you can see it's just pulling off huge plumes, plume after plume after plume, and just throwing it at the United States. And meanwhile, we have, kind of Central Africa activity. It's kind of creeping more down this way. Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Oman, they're a mess. We have huge plumes of sand blowing across the Indian Ocean, hitting India now. And now we can kind of put our winds back on. And I'll just let you watch the wind patterns for a second there. And then we'll come over to here. And this camera doesn't like this color, but we'll change it over to red here just a second. So there's your sand being thrown around by our conveyor system too. See the conveyor system? See these wind patterns coming around again? They're coming down, hitting this, pulling the sand off. Each storm that starts to rotate rotates with a bunch of sand and pulls off this circular ball of sand with it. All right, but you see there's not much sand up here to quell any kind of storm forming out here. Okay, there is some, but it's not like this, right? Okay, because we'll be talking about this area tonight. Okay, other little spots. Oh, is that a heart right there? I don't know. Just kind of look like a heart from here. All right, we got to keep going. So now let's do our ocean temperature, sea surface temperature anomalies. I want the wind, please. I want it now. There we go. Okay, you can see our hurricane has made it up into the country. So we're on our current conditions. All right, so here come the hot pockets. That's why I titled this Hot Pockets, because we got a hot pocket here. We got hot pockets all over here, here. So notice something. This region was getting nice and yellow. We had another yellow bar growing here, and it's gone. It's this small little like golden crown type effect. See that golden crown? But this has grown in size and in intensity, and we have white now coming out here out of Tamumasi, our biggest volcano on the planet. Okay, whatever happened there over the course of the weekend relieved a lot of pressure right in this region, and probably just in the nick of time, because something I've been avoiding really showing you. It's been there the whole time. I just don't point it out too much. But we're going to talk about this right here. This is the Juan de Fuca. Whoops. Take the wind off. This is where the Wanda Fuca comes in. Bing, bing. This is our fulcrum point. See that? See this other one here? And this going on down in LA? It was worse. So when this yellow bar relieved pressure, well, when this relieved the pressure here, that yellow bar receded. So did these little guys too, because they were starting to, well, look at them. Let's just, I know not everybody lives in California here, but there are a lot of people along this coastline, millions of people. Okay, so this area is very important that we kind of cover this, right? Knows how it's creeping in on Oregon. It's creeping in on Washington, pinching off the cold water. It's only a matter of time now, okay? This thing, getting concerning too. Was a little worse than it is now. It kind of relieved some pressure, but we have, a site right off the shore right here. Growing under Southern California here. This is creeping under the ground, under land too. It's not just perfectly shaped to the shoreline. This is a bulge or a pocket of heat, probably. Partially under the land and partially sticking out of the water. So the West Coast getting close now. And luckily this has been relieved. Unfortunately, it's this one, but it's our biggest volcano on the planet. So maybe it'll relieve a lot of the pressure. It's, well, let's talk about this for a second here. It has the capacity to to reduce a lot of pressure when it emits, right? It's the biggest volcano, so it can have a big blast and emit a lot of pressure, okay? Its circumference, it also depends on its opening, the fissure, the perforation in the crust, how big the opening is. But it could relieve a lot of the pressure around the world because this magma flows circular around the planet like this because the planet rotates. There's lava currents that go around in circles with the planet. Okay, so relief of pressure can relieve other regions. So we've seen this now, Tamumasi relieving pressure for this big yellow bar. And what else I want to talk about, this location. It's a good location, it's a bad location. It's a good location in that it's farther north where cold water can inundate and help keep things cool. It's not located right in the middle of population. It's way out in the middle where there's hardly any population. Okay, so I mean, if we had to pick a spot, it would. I hate to say it, that's probably a good spot maybe to start relieving some of the pressure worldwide. Even though it's our biggest volcano, that could produce a blast that would ruin this world as well. So very, very kind of tit for tat, out of the frying pan into the fire. Well, either way, it's, a trade-off. We traded off pressure and heat and stuff. Maybe bought some more time over here, if you know what I mean. Probably bought some more time over here. And maybe that's what this can do, is buy us some more time if it emits enough pressure. Meanwhile, we still have this region here, Hawaii, it's in white. Or, Japan, that's still in white as well. Whew. Now, let's get on down here to Taiwan. You can see we got these regions that are growing in temperature around it right here, okay? So we're having pressure build up in this area, driving magma to the ocean floor, the ocean floor. And then that's causing heat plumes to rise up through the water, right? So wherever you see heat is where our pressure's building. Pressure's building around our fulcrum point area. Heat signatures are getting stronger and stronger. That means pressure in this area. We need to see another quake from this. Or the next one we see could be a little stronger magnitude. See how the pressure relates to magnitude? And look at this, how there was a hot spot right in here before, and it's like seized up. And now this whole little bay is its own little cold spot. Look how the cold water inundated this bay to escape all this hot water. It's like, oh, what's hiding here? What would be weird would be to be like on this beach right here. You walk down the beach, it's, bath water, probably too hot to get in, and you go over here and jump in and it's cool. Within a matter of miles. Brian Roger, Mud Fossil University site has videos of water exploding. Go check it out. Yes, I know Roger well. He's a very intelligent man. I've got an assessment on the water exploding and when the pressures get too great. Oh, yeah. Water under pressure. Yeah. Well, you can get steam. You can get explosivity. There's only a certain amount of pressure an element can take before it starts to change. It'll change into a different compound or a different element. You'll start losing electrons, protons. It'll start changing into a different element. We'll get into that stuff someday too, if you want, once I get my lab back. All right, so where are we here? I wanted to look at this. This is hot water starting to grow along the coast up here. Off of China right here. This area that we're North Korea, remember it was hot on both sides? Remember just last week they were in hot water, baby. Look at this. Got this whole cold water plume. Oh. I think I know how we're getting ice cold water like this. You see these temperatures down here at the tip of Baja California, the same temperatures we have up in the Arctic Circle. Sorry. Okay, so this cold water that's coming from somewhere, from like out of nowhere, like this little patch right here. And this whole area right here, this is like super cold, supercharged cold water. But what's it doing this far south? What's it doing with these heat plumes? And it just occurred. I know. Well, God kind of sent it to me. All right, you guys understand we have oceans that are below our oceans. There are levels of crust. The crust is thin in comparison to the circumference of the Earth, but we do have layers of crust. And in some of those layers, even though it's hotter down deeper, there still are cold layers before you hit warm layers. There is a cold ocean underneath all of our oceans. We see pressure from down below pushing up hot water. Pressure from down below can hit the other water table. It's a water table, basically, and push up cold water. That's why we're getting cold water inundation, supercharged cold water. Not just cool. That's cold. That's Arctic water right there at the tip of Baja. Look at this heat signature right next to it. How did that get so cold and this get hot? Because we have different vent structures through the strata that, some emanate cold water, some push up hot water. So if we're seeing hot water being pushed up, magma and stuff being pushed up, causing hot water plumes, we're seeing cold water being pushed up through gaps, fissures, cracks, perforations between strata, There's a colder ocean down. When you go to the bottom of the ocean here, go off the Mariana Trench real quick. We go down into some, oh, I need a better map. We go down into some of these deep trenches down in here. The water is super cold. It's not hot. It's super cold down there. So the further down you go, the colder it gets until you hit a hot layer. So we have an underwater, well, let's say it again, Lord. We have different layers. We have different strata, a different underground ocean with a perforation in between the two layers that's pushing up cold water. Yeah, tell me about the creatures too. Yeah, some of these creatures we've never seen before because they reside in the lower oceans. Okay, they can go up through, they know over millions, thousands of years, however old they are, from, searching through the ocean floors. They can sense cold currents. They can find different passageways to the different layers, different water tables. Think of it like a water table with another layer, another table, like a wooden table, like different layers. And if we can get hot water and magma pushing up, well, we can get cold water pushing up too. That's where it's coming from. I'm like, yeah, where the heck is this coming from? Oh, yeah, duh. Now, back to where I was. Sorry, revelation mid-show. No biggie. Now, back to Java here. Still kind of warm in this area. We do have cold water inundation over here. It's still doing its job as far as relieving pressure in the area with volcanoes and earthquake activity in the region. You can see temperature growing out here in the Indian Ocean, right along here on the side of Sumatra. We have this starting to yellow in there. Okay, this is the region that had that Boxing Day quake that was, killed, changed the axis of the planet, man. All right, here we go. There's a little heat plume there. All this going on down below. Okay, so if we're seeing volcano activity all over the surface, well, we're seeing volcano activity on the surface under the oceans. This is still the ocean floor is still the surface of the planet. It just has water sitting on top of it. Now, back to this region and our... this whole area is starting to like gel with this region. Remember, we had these little fingers of heat that were kind of reaching out of here. Well, this whole spot has now formed and reached back while these have reached out. Now we're getting this more centrally located hot spot right up here. This hot pocket right between, well, North America and Spain, right there in the middle, is right where our three-way junction is that's emitting nickel, cadmium, cesium, probably all kinds of wonderful elements coming up from down below. Maybe even stuff we didn't even know about. Wait until they find that out. They're going to be like, what? How is that possible? I'll tell you in a minute. So I want you to look at the new conveyor belt system, the structure of it, how it's morphed, the morphology, the changing of the structure a little bit due to changes in heat plumes. Now we have our conveyor belt kind of going like this still. It's still nice and weak. It's not too strong, especially down in these regions. You see how widespread and weak these winds are as opposed to tight and strong here. So when you see widespread and weak, it's not very organized, not very strong. It's being quelled by the sands. But up here, we have hot water, and there's no sand to quell this. Watch out, Spain. Watch out, England. Watch out this whole area now, because the vortex of rotation is spinning Well, it's spinning stuff in this direction towards Europe. And you see this little vortex of cold here, cold water hitting hot water, causing rotation. This vortex that's setting up right here, cold, hot, is going to draw stuff up through this region. You see the flow. That's where your storms will be going over in Europe, is right where you see your flow going. This pattern continues. It's just going to get, it's going to change. The morphology will change, but as we're looking at, we're still seeing a huge plume of temperature. This is extremely hot water right now. We don't need this. Anyways, cold water along the coast of Africa right here. This is where our hurricane genesis begins, is out here on the coast of Africa. Hot air coming off the Africa coast mixing with moist air, creating vortex type structure rotation that wants to come across. And this is where our hurricanes, are born. And we got all the sand and cold water. Are you kidding me? This might just shut down that conveyor belt. It's definitely going to hamper and weaken any kind of storm productivity. Okay, even though we have this is nuts. It's crazy that this is this hot and we can still have this happen. This is the opposite of what's supposed to be happening right now. Everything's supposed to be getting hotter out here. Everything's supposed to be nice and cold up there. So everything working backwards. Okay. Again with our flow. Sorry, I'm bouncing around again. I'll hold it still and use this. Again, coming through here, these outer band islands will be getting the flow. Storms will be riding this still. Whatever it does generate, in between sandstorms, in between sand plumes, are going to come through here and still go up through this area. Meantime, we have our storm right there. As it brings moisture up into here, wait, it's right there. Whoa, look at this. Now, just the other day, we had this nice jet that was coming over the Arctic and coming down into America this way. Part of it's still right here. But the tightening up of this vortex, rotation right here, has really hampered that overshoot coming down. Because that was the cold air feeding moist air coming up. See how it's way up here now? See how the moist air and the cold air are way up here now, instead of way down here where they were colliding before. So as this hurricane came up, it shifts some stuff. And this other loop that was coming down, that was a dangerous mix. Is that one coming down into that moist air has been disrupted. It's still there very weakly. I mean, you can barely see. There's still a little bit, but it's very disrupted. That means this thing stands a chance of just getting hooked up with this and heading on out. So it gets hooked up with this, heads on out. Tropical depression goes out into this. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when this energy makes it out here to this water. We got another surface temperature right here. Oh no, are you kidding me? That did not change like that. Oh, I was going to show you this because it was showing yellow still across from here to here. There was no red up in here. I was going to reverse to this map and say, because over here it's still showing yellow, and the genesis of anything happening in this area with yellow temperatures doesn't seem feasible. But when we have a plume, that could still happen. Without the yellow, and we have this now on the yellow where it was. Did not expect that to correlate that quickly with that at all. Okay, so back to focusing. Quit over dramatizing stuff, Brian. They'll think you're serious. The people that haven't taken me serious have suffered. I just pray someday I can get some people to listen. But anyways, back to business. This thing is going to continue to intensify in size and in heat throughout the course of the summer. We are just our first, week and a half into July. We got all of July, the rest of July, all of August, all of September. And if we've seen this much genesis, this much growth just in this short amount of time, I'm wondering if we're going to be around at the end of summer. Anyways, if we keep getting cold water inundation like this, we stand a good chance. That helps right there. And then this cold water plume right here, cutting off, it went right through there, hit land, which takes the oomph out of it, goes over much cooler waters right here. But look at this, you guys. Look at this. What the heck? Take off the wind. We're seeing yellow growing along the coastline now here. Thankfully for this plume, hopefully it'll keep pumping out some cool water there. All right, there we go. So hopefully that'll keep pumping out some cool water, quelling the power of the hurricanes. I mean, this thing could have come in at a Cat 5. You look at it was a Cat 5 right in this region, right? If this area was all yellow, you're talking Cat 10, something that's just, never been seen before. Now, we still do stand the chance here later on this summer, depending on where heat plumes grow and position themselves, we still have our conveyor belt type structure. Any kind of change in, wind like this that cuts off the sandstorms that are diffusing these, like this. See this flow coming up from the southern hemisphere, crossing the equator. What? Oh, whoa. The rotation, the heat is so much, it's pulling air from the southern equator. Usually air stays below the equator. They don't cross. What? Oh, what? Let's see if we can right about there. Hopefully this isn't blinding the camera too much. Let's go back right there. Okay, we got that. We got this. See this feed coming up? Oh, okay. No. Let's go like that. All right. Coming off of here, going around there. We're going to get air drawn up from the southern hemisphere because of this conveyor belt structure. I see it connecting right here already. The power of this vortex of rotation right here over time, the more organized, the stronger it gets, the more air it's going to pull up possibly from the southern hemisphere. Do you see that? And the locations of our heat plumes, see the zigzagging coming off, actually coming up here. So yeah, these heat plumes are really starting to direct air and direct the storm patterns and everything. It's no longer our jet streams that control the weather. It's the heat plumes underneath the oceans. Now, cold water, hot water, they like to vortex. You see this cold plume, hot, cold, rotation. This is the wind pattern is following the heat structure. Yes or no? Can you see the heat structure causing wind patterns? I'll leave it there for a second and let you guys take a bong hit, then look at it. You'll go, oh, indeed, I see it now. No, but what I'm saying is our heat causing vortex, cold causing vortex. The heat line, the actual line where the barrier is shaping the shape of the vortex. Same here. See, reach up and then whoop, right back down. All of these are following heat signatures. They're following the hot pockets. And then down below, it's just one smooth band all the way back across, comes around, does the wonky woo woo woo. And we were seeing one smooth little conveyor belt structure when that was a bar, when this yellow patch was more of a straight, bar type structure. Well, now it's a little bit broken up and whoa. It's a little broken up and it's changed our vortex structure. We get bisymmetry. We get one vortex with another rotating a different direction and it'll cut off in the middle. And then you get two vortexes. Oh, you guys are going to love this. You're looking at something. You're looking at a face. Do you see the face there in the wind patterns? They pull back to right there. It's a cartoon character. Does anybody recognize what cartoon character that is? Put it in the chat. Yeah, it's ocean themed. The movie is a ocean themed movie, and this stubby pointed nose and this big smile right here, that face right there is a cartoon character. I recognize who it is. I'll give you guys 8 minutes to for the delay. Not Elmo. It's from Finding Nemo. I'll give you that hint. My name's Bruce. How are you, mate? That's Bruce, the great white shark, right there. Yeah, the Grinch too. I got plenty of the Grinch before, but look at that. That's Bruce, the shark from Finding Nemo. Whoops, I had it just right. I think that's the name of the character. The great white shark from Finding Nemo, right there. And crazy as it might sound, this is actually a spiritual event. And if you knew that, how would we put it? Metaphorically, then, you're like cartoon players you're like cartoon characters in flesh. Okay, so cartoons, the characters that are in there are still characters. They're real characters, they're real entity, real consciousness. All right, so interesting how it's making that face of all faces. So, I think we covered all that. I think we covered enough. Any questions you guys got or want to see something else? Or I've never seen Finding Nemo. Oh, you've never seen Finding Nemo. Not just a kid's movie. The humor, the way it's written, the characters, the storyline, everything is much, much deeper at a deeper level for adults. That movie is even too deep for most adults, let's just say, okay? It's a kid's movie for a reason, and it appeals to adults for a reason because a lot of their mentality is childish still. So, the cartoon character theme in a lot of this, it goes into the fact that cartoon characters are real. They're characters. They're just somebody has portrayed this spirit they couldn't do it in a fleshy way, so they drew it as a character, right? So these consciousnesses, these characters, these entities exist. That's pretty funny though. It's doing it right there. So there's all of that and a little spiritual in the same report. You see the Grinch? Owls, lions, dogs, dragons, fish. Yep, that's the common theme. Real demons, yes, real demons in there too. That would be a demon face. Good old Bruce, the great white shark. He's in AA because he likes to eat fish. He's trying to stop eating fish. Remember, fish are friends. So he plays kind of the bad guy, trying to be a good guy. But it's just in his nature. He can't help himself. He's a great white shark. I mean, what do you want him to be? A guppy? Act like a guppy? See, there's certain characters in our society, certain characters that are, well, they are what they are for a reason. They're part of the story. They enhance other characters. They bring out traits in other characters. Get it? So not every bad guy is totally evil, and not every good guy is perfect either. So it's a really delicate balance, and they do well through what they do. Walt Disney does, he performs magic is what he's doing. He's trying to show you the spiritual realm through paintings and cartoons. I show it to you the real way with the wind and the clouds and in your heart. Okay, so that's enough of Bruce smiling at you there. Bye-bye, Bruce. Let's move on to earthquakes. The reason why I do a lot of these scientific reports with the spiritual, well, how do they blend together? Where's that link? Well, that's where some of it's linking together now, okay? The reason why is because, when we start to see spiritual events happening on the face of the planet, right? The face of the planet, then you know how close we are. The spiritual realm is like just right there. You're starting to see the face of the planet come out, right? Wait till this mouth opens up. It has a bunch of teeth in it. Anyways, so yeah, they do cross over, and that's why I have to do the scientific reporting as well as the spiritual report at the end. Also has its piecing effect. Okay, so there's multiple dimensions, multiple angles. I do a lot in different ways that just kind of, don't make sense at first until they all connect. So it all connects, you'll see. Now, look at our deep region. No deep quakes, no surface quakes, no energy dispersion. Now, I really didn't go look at what happened yesterday, as far as quake activity. We can go take a little peek if we need to, but I'm sticking with what we got right now. Very quiet through there. We do have activity on land in Australia. A 4.4 at a depth of 8.1. That is a very shallow quake for Australia. You guys are starting to see your pressure here down under. We see, ow, we've seen all these SO2 emissions in this area. Ow. We're gonna, yeah, we're seeing quake emissions or quake activity because the emissions aren't enough to relieve the pressure down under. 4.2 at 134.7. 4.5 at a depth of 8. There's your other shallow one right there. 4.8 down at 56, and oh boy, here we go. So our fulcrum point now. Sorry, bear with me for a second. These twinges of pain are embarrassing, so. All right. Now, most of our fulcrum point activity happens up in here and on the back side a little bit. This is just, it's not our fulcrum point. It's just not. It's darn close, but if this were a different fulcrum point somewhere else on the planet, I would say that's close enough, but that isn't. We need it right there. We need a good 6 point something right there to relieve a lot of energy. This is 4.2 down at 14.4. See, we have these. Ow. Let's try this. Okay, you can see we have this valley that runs down the middle here. Here's a mountain range with the tip sticking up above the water. Okay, here's another mountain range down in that little valley on this wall. Now, hopefully you can see this little trench running down through there. This is the top of the mountain, right? Going down that slope, down to that trench on that wall right there. This is 14.4. It's not at a depth of 10, but it's pretty close to the surface. We're seeing just like this little island right here. See how these two little mountain ranges split and go different directions? Well, a little point of weakness right there. That's why that formed. You're seeing another little underwater, well, like another active volcano starting to emit energy right here. It's not a island yet. It's not a volcano yet, but it's that path of least resistance. It's that kink, that little separation right there. Matches that island directly on the opposite side, 4.2 down to 14. Yeah, watch that for that little point right there because we have pressure in this region. This, you know what this is telling me? This is locked up. We're not seeing quakes right here because it's locked up. Something maybe shifted down below in the last quake and a boulder fell into a canyon and now that canyon can't grind back and forth, locking things up. And now we're seeing energy in the area find the path of least resistance in this trench, not on the plate boundaries. Do you see what I'm saying? This is in the trench, not on the plate boundaries. We're seeing a new weak spot. This is jammed up. Something's jammed up in here. That's what that tells me. Exactly. That's what's going on. Until I see a good quake right out of this fulcrum point, this is going to be our new little weak spot, I think. Right where it splits, right where we would see a secondary volcano growing on the other side of this Y-shaped split. Path of least resistance right there. Watch that. That could possibly become something different. All right, meantime, over here, fulcrum point off of India, 4.2 down 229. We'll get all over there later. Let's cover the rest of the world real quick. Mid-Atlantic range of 5. Ow. 5.1 down at 10. Sorry, I'm yawning into your guys's. So rude. There's probably a lot more activity going on out here than they're showing. This three-way split right here, this is our perforation in the crust. This is your path of least resistance, because you got one plate grinding on one doing one thing, both plates grinding on this other one doing one thing, and then either plate grinding on each other doing something as well. So a lot of activity, a lot of weakness right in that area. And you can see the structure on the bottom, the ocean of the floor of the ocean of the floor. This is our weak spot right here, and that's where we're seeing our heat plume. Okay. No, not you, Bruce. This one, Bruce's butt is right there. I'll take off the wind for a second. Okay. Do you see the positioning of that heat plume? Do you see off the coast of Spain, right in between this island and Spain? This island and Spain. Okay. We have a problem. There's a lot of lava, magma, nickel, even radioactive components coming up through the ocean floor right there that are going to continue to heat that area. It's already this hot at the beginning of July. Imagine what this whole region surrounding this area, because this plume will grow and spread. Even if the event underneath doesn't grow any bigger, the plume will heat from the surface sun as well. The sun hitting the surface, heating the water. This is without the sun already, so we're in deep doo-doo. There's going to be catastrophic effects from this. And what I talked about before that we could possibly see is, 8 to 10 evenly spaced hurricanes rotating around this. This can get so strong, it doesn't matter about Sahara sand. When you're talking 200-mile-an-hour winds, sand ain't going to play a factor in it at all. You're going to see tornado or hurricane genesis, popping one after another, and 8 to 10 equal distant hurricanes constantly rotating around the conveyor belt, just one after another. So right here, this one comes through, and before it even leaves the coast, another one moving through. Just as that one leaves the coast, another one moving through. Just as that one leaves the coast, another. So it would just be one after another, and then they would come off of here and hit hotter water. Okay, before this water was cold and it killed every storm. You are going to see the chances of tornado or hurricane genesis more pronounced up here in the North Atlantic than it is down here. So instead of oh shit. This might be the driving factor that drives out the sand factor. You're going to see hurricanes forming here, not forming here into the conveyor belt. They're going to be forming here, hopping into the conveyor belt, blowing out a lot of that sand. That could open this storm door. The moment that sand gets cut off, it's on. And it's growing, and it's going to do something here. Just a matter of time. Okay? Let's be mature. Let's be adult. Let's look and use reason and think about moving back from the coastlines. Okay? For good reason. There is also a ice shelf down in Antarctica that's about to break off. Any sudden surge in water anywhere on the world, a big sudden surge in water can send tsunamis around the world. to any coastline except inland. Okay, if you're on an inland lake, you're not going to see a tsunami, but any ocean coastline, even up in the Arctic regions, doesn't matter. If you're Hawaii out in the middle of the Pacific and you get a tsunami over here, it could go all the way around the world. Waves travel, they bounce, they ricochet, they come off of coves, and they do. Sometimes they magnify. A wave will hit here, and a wave will hit here, and then they reverberate, come back at each other. 20-foot wave, 20-foot wave just made a 100-foot wave when they combined. So we could see all kinds of new factors affecting coastline. All kinds of new factors affecting coastline. If we look over here, look who caught a break for a minute. I think they might be second guessing and doing a little reevaluating there. Because but it's that sword is right there. Do you see it? I wonder if they see it. Because this was all yellow right through here a little while ago. So they've gotten a little reprieve in this region, if you know what I mean. But it's right there. They make a mistake. Oh, boy. Something that's been funny this whole time. You guys will get this this man-made global warming, man-caused global warming, and we know it's the sun that's causing the global warming, right? The sun, the way it affects our planet, causes heat from down below to rise up, causing the oceans to heat up, causing air to heat up. But ironically, it's man's sins that are causing the sun to do what it's doing. So in an alternate way, climate change is due to man. It's due to man's iniquity. And if he'd stop being so evil, we could fix this stuff. That's how it gets fixed, by the way. That's how it gets fixed. It can be. This is a spiritual event, right? It's going to take a spiritual warrior to fix said event. Now, I wonder what character this one's going to take on. Oh, wait. I see an eye, big old red ear. No, I'm joking. But, yeah, don't be surprised. You will see that probably. This patch, now, the bigger it becomes, let's go into this a little bit. We need to talk about this again more maturely here. There are lots of options here, okay? We have seen our conveyor belt structure form, okay? Depending on heat plumes and where they connect, where they cut off, where we get vortexes rotating around, dictates our conveyor belt type structure, right? So when we had a small pocket, intense heat here and nothing down here, it had the straight across effect. Now when we get here, it draws air in more. And then cold air wants to rush, or cold water wants to rush in, creating cold air. Air and water translate to each other. Warm water causes warm air. Cold water causes cold air. Duh. Just in case, just for the layman's, not a dumb question, but we got to get that out there. Now, cold and heat, when they mix, they cause vorticity, rotation, okay? This new heat signature in here with cold now here has caused a new vortex right here, right? Before there wasn't a vortex here. It was heat coming over this and going straight in. Just last week, we had heat coming straight across, or flow coming straight across and straight in there. Now, since this has grown in strength, it has caused this to dip down. When this dipped down, cold water came in. This caused vorticity. So the adding of heat in this direction draws cold water in, causing a new vortex to form. So we can see storm structures that will be stationary, that would be off the hook stationary type. Oh, those cows farting too, they don't help. Methane, that's a natural gas. We could collect that and put it in our cars, and wouldn't smell that good. But no, I was joking with your joke there. Sorry, I'm talking to the chat. Anyways, back to a report here. So cold water, any kind of new formation can draw cold water in, causing a new vortex. Any break in formation can draw cold water in, causing a new vortex. Any change in formation can draw cold water in and changing the vortex, right? So we're seeing changes in our patterns because of the changes in the heat plumes. What we're not seeing really is a reduction in heat overall. We are seeing cold water plumes inundate and causing vorticity. We are seeing maybe breaks in strata where we're getting cold water inundation from a different layer, okay? On where vents and hookups for cold, underwater cold ventilation hookups, could pop up, would dictate different patterns, okay? Our conveyor belt structure is there, but it's dependent on a lot of other factors: cold water, hot water, vorticity. The structure is still there. It's very weak. It's not very organized or strong, but this pattern is kind of set up, and we have seen a much closer match. I mean, this is still a close match, don't get me wrong, but we have seen how do I put this? More detailed hints as to what to come. Okay, when we see patterns identically hooking up perfect with rotation like this and sending storms like this, it did one already. The potential is there. Our inhibitor is the sand, so we're getting lucky on that. All right, a lot of hot pockets doing a lot of different activity. This one up here in the Hudson Bay, that's out of character. We had this up in Alaska. Take off the windows. We had a little plume growing in this bay. I think it was this little guy. And it caused its own vortex there. And now it's like reduced in heat and in pressure. And that vortex is gone there. Watch. It's shifted now over to here because we don't have that big heat plume in there. In fact, look at the super cold water that's in the area. Here we're seeing one of these four-way splits too. We're seeing heat coming off the Kamchatka now, off the shoreline. So even though we're seeing a lot of volcano activity in that region, heat's building up off the coastline. Look at this over here. That's all new, growing in that region. Japan. All right, sorry I'm taking so long on this one. I'm trying to get my composure back here too. Big heat plume. This is like way up in the Arctic. You can see that what was once dark, bright blue, this color is supposed to be up here. No longer that bright blue. It's a darker blue because of the heat. It is diluted to cold. All right. Lots of issues we got, and it's runaway train. Okay, speaking of the runaway train, we'll get into the spiritual part a little bit with that. Um, I had this reoccurring dream, and I had issues with it. I was seeking counseling and stuff, telling my my therapist or my counselor or whatever about the reoccurring dream, and they didn't really hear it. They didn't understand it. They weren't even listening. So it kind of slipped through the cracks. Anyways, we need to get up to here now and finish off our earthquake report. The runaway train was headed towards a car sitting on the tracks. And I'm up on a hill looking down. And I see this car sitting on the tracks, 3.5 down at 146 on the plate boundary right there. So 3.5 there. Activity here, earthquake activity at volcanic islands, indication of pressure down below. 3.3 magnitude. That's good. 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 Down right there. 2.6. What are these? Fulcrum point quakes on the inside of the fulcrum. You see it, right? Here's the fulcrum right there. These are little 2.2s. Yeah, good. So we're seeing little microquaking. Every time pressure kind of comes in this area, it's been doing a really good job of microquaking out. Here's some diverse quakes. We don't see them up here all the time. It does have the capacity for it, but very diverse way up here, out of character. 3.3 down at the surface up there. Now, back here to the Juan de Fuca, our big quake for the day, a 5.2 off of Tofin, Canada. I know this is freaking everybody out. They're going, oh my God, the Juan de Fuca is coming to life. It's the end. No, it's good that we have some of this energy being relieved here. And what I want to do real quick here, do the 7-day magnitude. Thank you. All right. That's today's quake. 5.2, 5.7, 5.0, and a bunch of mid-range 4s, okay? Add all that up. Add all of that energy up to one quake. Okay, we got a 5. Let's do 5.2 and a 5.7 and a 5.0. Those three quakes right there, combined energy together would be a 15. No, I'm joking. No, we're talking 7 or 8 at least right there with those three quakes. That the energy got scrubbed right there. Add all of these mid-range 4s on both sides of the plate to that. You're looking at like a magnitude 9 that we just dodged. Do you understand me? This could have been catastrophic for this region. It would have triggered a tsunami that would have gone all the way down the west coast. We all know it would have gone a mile in and wiped out everything along the coast. Your big quake chances just got reduced. I know people think it's warming up, and it's well, here. It is warming up here. In fact, this is what we got to talk about too here. Right, let me address this as best I can. Okay. Here is your bottom of the Juan de Fuca, the fulcrum point where we see a lot of our activity, drive inland right here as well. Okay, so off the fulcrum point, clear up here at the other, like say the zag, there's a zig, then there's a zag, zigzag. So on the zag of the Juan de Fuca, just opposite the bay right there. See all the pressure creeping in there? That would be your Juan de Fuca zigzagging down through there. We have pressure and heat building under the Juan de Fuca. If we do not have this kind of activity on a constant basis, then you're going to see a big one. This kind of activity also relieves pressure as well. Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. So many things I taught my physics professors with that. The very thing that they taught me, I'm like, oh, well, then that means this. And they go, no, 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 no. I go, yeah, every action has an opposite and equal reaction. Well, it wouldn't per se do that. Well, then what would it do then? Well, I don't know. Well, that's what it would do. It's so funny that they grasp half the concept and then they teach you half the concept. And when you ask the other half, you don't know. Well, there's cause and effect. Well, we understand the effect. Well, what was the cause? Well, that we don't know. Well, what are we doing then? Let's find out the cause. All right, back to cause and effect. Energy being released, good thing. Especially 5.2. I will take that all day long because the tsunami never happened. We get a tsunami alert. I want to see what their magnitude was just real quick. You guys are being so patient tonight. You know, most of you guys are like, get rid of this stuff and just do the spiritual report. 4.8. Okay, good. We're moving on. 4.8. 4.8. 5.2. Is this sounding like we can trust the USGS more than NOAA now? What's going on here? All right. I'm not going to get all into it. The same kind of typical activity. 2.3 is the big one in Vallejo there. Out here, 3.4 in Utah. Our little spot here at this little fault structure right there. Again, activity there, 3.0 in Colorado. You're seeing your activity here because when pressure comes in, it goes to a lot of these sites right here, and you get your microquaking activity right there because of the perforations in the crust. Man-made perforations in the crust. Nothing through there. We're going on down here. 5.3 at 31. Ooh, is it on a shelf? No, good. It's on land. All right, bang it out. Get out of there. Here we go with this region where we had our big quake. This has become a new weak spot or path of least resistance. This is 5.4. Can we get all the blue junk out of here, please? Oh, no. I just want the blue junk out. Jesus, can we have the earthquake report back, please? Lord, please, can we have the computer back? Thank you. The USGS site. Thank you. Okay, close that one out, I guess. Meanwhile, 5.4, 4.5, 5.3 at 21, 5.4 at 31. Right there. There's a lot of energy. There's add that mid-range 4. You're looking at almost a 7 there. There've probably been, a lot of energy. Not necessarily a 7, but we're seeing, bigger magnitude quakes. We're dodging them with multiple mid-range. That's what I'd much rather see that. Wouldn't you? No, you guys are like, no, I want to see a 10.0 rip the Pacific Rim in half. 4.5 right there. I hate that blue thing. Bugging me. 4.3 down at 91. My eyes are sensitive, and that blue, it really hurts my eyes. This is the 5.1 on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. We need to see more earthquake activity along the zipper here, relieving pressure so a bunch of nickel doesn't come squirting out right there. Going into Hawaii. Oh, look at this. Lots of quaking here at Hawaii. I just pick out a couple of big ones real quick. 2.7s, 3. So mid-range 2 to 3s instead of 1s and 2s. It's a little bit bigger magnitude here in your microquaking. Your microquaking isn't micro, it's 3.4s and mid-range 2s. So a lot of pressure coming out of Hawaii right there due to our low pressure buildup. Okay, there's that. That's done. Let's get out of here and do a volcano report. I haven't done one in a minute, so we'll do that. And then we'll get to spiritual. You guys are like, aww. Okay. Let there be lava. 33 and 28. 33 erupting, 28 in morning. Or active, we should say active. 61 currently active volcanoes. Why did you not click on this? All right. Thanks for bearing with me there. The volcano page likes to shut my computer down, so we try to avoid that. Now, already July 9th, Etna, Semeru, Etna, and here, we'll get into it in a second. So, Etna and Sicily, after 2 intense pyroxysms, a new code built. But what I wanted to talk about was Etna and Stromboli both erupted on the same day. So we had 2 eruptions in Italy on the same day. I think that was yesterday. I was hoping they'd talk about it. We'll have to look. Ibu, 8,000. Luatobi, 10. Semeru maxing at 15. Nevada del Ruiz. Reventador, 14.5. Sabancaya, 24. Stromboli, here we go. Stromboli and Etna on the same day. Oh, it says July 7th, July 8th, but within the course of a day. Eruption has ceased at Etna, but they had an eruption, and Stromboli activity remains more or less unchanged. Campi Flegrei, watch out. That's the big one, and they're going to, no significant changes in activity, luckily, but that's the big one. That's what you're all going to hear about some days. That's the one that ruined Italy. Italy's no longer there. It's just the gaping crater of Campi Flegrei. Here's Vesuvius in Italy. The volcano remains calm, but the volcano observatory in Naples informed that no significant seismic deformation or other activity has been detected. You better watch that one close too. Svarensky and Reykjanes. Karaminsky, 15,000. Ibu, 8. Luatobi, 10. Semeru maxing 15. Marapi on Sumatra. Another producing ash plume of 1,000 meters. That's 3,000 feet. Around there. Popo, sporadic emissions. Fuego, 16 out of Fuego. That's a pretty good blast out of Fuego. Nevada del Ruiz, 21. That's even bigger. Reventador, 14. And Sabancaya, 24. These lists here should be very disturbing. Okay? We go over them every other night or whatever. They're so commonplace here at this show that it doesn't affect you guys. But if you were to tell the world today and you put this list on the breaking news, there are 61 volcanoes erupting. That would be insane, huh? Mm-hmm. And it just keeps going and going and going. Yep. And we got a volcano down in Antarctica too. Don't forget about that, Jim. Where's that little map? The top here. Right here. Erebus. Don't forget, we got an active volcano currently erupting in Antarctica. That's heat showing up at the surface. You know all that heat plumes we see on the map? Don't think Antarctica's out of the question. They're having heat plumes under their surface as well. and that'll melt some of the ice shelves, and that slams into the water, creating tsunamis. Okay, we're all done. Weather or not, 3 days worth, that's it. Let that load up real quick, and we'll get into the spiritual report. Yep, our 20-year here ready. Oh, good. I got something picked out for us tonight, too. Ow. Oh, we gotta wait until it all loads up. I was just gonna cut to the chase. Okay, a couple more clicks. These days, weather is so volatile that anything pretty much after 3 days on the tracker here is kind of invalid anymore. Meanwhile, we still have severe weather, nocturnal tornadoes going on in Arkansas right now as we speak. Okay, there's a gnarly tornado outbreak today because of a hurricane. Yes, we had a hurricane sparking tornadoes. That's what happens. Get rid of that volcano page. All right, so here we go. Current conditions, the nighttime of the 8th. We are currently nocturnal thunderstorms and tornadoes in Arkansas. Morning of the 9th, it's still going to be ongoing, all right? You're talking about a hurricane that's still going over land, all right? So it has severe, the whole thing is a severe weather system. So even as it peters out, you're still going to have severe weather in the morning hours, July 9th, noontime. The sun's going to hit it at convection. Then at night, it's going to be still there up into Indiana, Illinois, hitting Chicago. Okay? Everybody in that path, wake up, get your shit together, and get ready because you have severe weather coming through. And just because the hurricane has, it's not a hurricane anymore, this is still a huge patch of severe weather. If this was if there was no hurricane and this was a regular weather day, I would say there's severe weather in that area. Okay, boom. So everybody in Chicago, look out tomorrow night. You guys are gonna get rocked. There's the morning of the 10th, noon, convection, nighttime. Are you kidding? You gotta be kidding me. Gotta be kidding me. Gotta be kidding me. Gotta be kidding me. So real quick diversion from the weather. When we see this hurricane move up through here, okay, you see the severe weather, and as it's leaving, it's going out into hot water. That is going to move out into hotter water than it formed down here. Look out, Europe. If that's what it's going to look like leaving, look out, Europe. I'm serious. That's a lot stronger than I was anticipating it leaving the coast. I'm thinking it's going to be like light green, barely any kind of energy. If that's going to be the case there, and it goes out into the Pacific like that, or the Atlantic, out into that heat plume. Wow. The nighttime of July 10th, morning of the 11th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 12th, noon, convection, nighttime. Hey, it looks like we get a little clearing here. Morning of the 13th, noon, convection, nighttime. Looking good. Morning of the 14th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 15th, noon, convection, nighttime. 16, noon, convection, nighttime. 17, noon, convection, nighttime. 18, noon, convection, 19, noon, convection, nighttime. 20, noon, convection, nighttime. 21, noon, convection, nighttime. 22. All right, cool. We're done, son. Let's get over to the spiritual report. Pull up some photos for a moment. So, last time we were here, I gave a dot-to-dot full explanation. Okay, a full explanation of what has happened to me. Okay, this has been very awkward. Just a normal guy doing my life, wife and kids, not expecting stuff like this to happen, right? So it's really threw my life for a loop. I went through a lot of stuff. So I showed you a lot of the stuff that I've been through because, well, I have to show you because nobody believes me. So I document it. And that way, when I tell them, hey, I got faces in the sky that follow me. Well, there's one right there. Okay. I got biblical events that happen in the sky around me. Well, here's a biblical event, the birthing of the Revelation 12 baby. So I had to kind of go through and just do this. Here's the wolf turning into Satan's face there, huffing and puffing and blowing the house down, right? The spiritual realm is what's in control of the weather. Okay? And there are man-made weapons, well, instruments, we'll say, that they can use as not as a weapon, but as a tool to fight back some of the weather that's happening. So we have spiritual warfare going on in the weather realm as well. Okay. And where does all that? So watch this. No. We need to go to. What was that? Is it in that? No, it's not on that day. Oh, it's in my videos. That's right. You're because we got a little things that connect in between too. That it just helps soothe you guys a little bit. It's not like, hey, look at me, blah blah blah. No, this is to solidify your foundation. Okay. So all the weather is being caused by the spiritual realm. There is resistance by man with his radar and his, direct energy weapon, technology to try to resist. Come on, you can skip an ad, you guys. Okay, let's pull up that one. So I showed you all the weather is coming from the spiritual realm, right? Well, the spiritual realm right here, all that's coming from there. So everything that's really going on is really coming from there. Everything in the spiritual realm, everything that the spiritual realm affects, like the weather, the volcanoes, the hurricanes, everything. All right. So everything in the spiritual realm that's affecting the physical realm originates from here. So it's important that you understand that. For instance, like today, some of the towns that were getting, next on the chopping block for the tornado is this town. It's heading towards this next town. Warn everybody of this next town, evacuate. If you note the name of the towns, it's telling a story. I kid you not, when you note the name of these towns, it's telling a story. He's using the name of the towns and the weather that it goes through, the different events, earthquakes, tornadoes, volcanoes, the name of those regions as a storyline too. It's so intricate and so deep. You guys you're learning more and more about it. So that's why we do this, okay? Awesome stuff. Very, very fascinating stuff. So the spiritual realm is what dictates the physical. So, if you want to make changes in the physical realm, you got to be able to make changes in the spiritual realm, right? So, how do we make changes in the spiritual realm? Well, we do this fine art of salvaging our day, okay? Because not every day goes nice and smooth like you want it to. There are other hiccups, other factors. There's me. I come in and trip you up to test you, okay? So, it's important that you understand this spiritual battle that you're in. You are trying to recover your day. If it has to happen a couple of times, say you recovered your day, but somebody came along and ruined that, don't let that ruin your day. You have to do a second salvation or a second salvage, right? And once you master the art of salvaging your day, then you can help other people who are having a bad day salvage their day as well. What you're doing is you're taking the light that I give you and you're shining and you're passing it on into other people's lives. Then they grow a smile, and then that pays it forward. And he smiles at somebody down the street after that, and that makes that guy smile. And it keeps going and it keeps going. It's like a snowball, but it won't collect and start going unless you start. A lot of you guys are sitting here listening to this stuff. Some of you are putting it to practice and finding results. That's why you're here. Okay? Don't forget that what I'm teaching you, you have to put into practice. Maybe you don't notice that your day went bad or something and you're just all hunky-dory skipping along. But there was gems, there were opportunities all throughout your day. Okay? To salvage your day, try to turn things around, help others turn their day around, be that light, be that positive influence that could possibly, you never know, you might keep somebody from committing suicide that day. You never know. So, the salvage work is what we're all about. We are in the salvage business. We salvage our days. We don't let it get us down no matter what it is. We have taken the art of looking at our mistakes and our difficulties as opportunities now. They are no longer mistakes. There's no such thing as mistake. It's only an opportunity to learn. That's why we're here, is to learn and grow. Okay, so couple of deep breaths for me, because I'm going a mile a minute. Everybody else, take a couple of deep breaths. I want you to look at this heart right here. I don't have it too big. Is it? I don't want it blinding the camera. No, just right there. Okay. Focus on that heart. That's where everything's coming from. Even the scary stuff. It's from a place of love. Sometimes tough love is still love. You don't understand it. You don't like it at the moment, but Dad is teaching you a lesson the hard way because he learned it and then is trying to pass it on or something along those lines. Okay. So after all the disturbing stuff that we look at, all the disturbing stuff that's going on around this world, it's important that you take a moment of time to be with the Lord, to unwind, to forget about the rest of the world. And remember, it's right there. It all focuses right there to that one point. All the devastation, all the hatred, all the everything that's going on is under control right there. That's where everything's coming from. Now, it is only as you and I work together that anything really works well. Okay? Some things will work. If you force them to, yeah, you can get it to work. But if you want things to work well, it's only as you and I work together that anything really works well. So when what you're desiring to do is pleasing to me, I come alongside you, helping you in your endeavor. Now, when what you are doing is pleasing, I come alongside you and help you. When what you're doing is not pleasing, I still come alongside you and try to help you. Okay, that's the part people didn't know, is I still come alongside you and try to help you in your endeavors, even if what you're doing is pleasing or unpleasing to me. It's only as you and I work together that things work well. So, sometimes you're aware of my empowering presence, and other times you're not. The more you turn to me for guidance and help, the more blessings I shower on you. You see how that works? The more you turn to me for guidance and help, the more blessings I can shower on you. Because each time you've turned, I give you the blessing. So the more you turn, the more blessing, right? And some of the blessings are work-oriented, but others are matters of the heart. Awareness of my presence should increase your sense of security and fill you with joy. Okay? That's what we're doing here. Now, I'm going to read this again, but listen. Awareness of my presence does increase your sense of security and does fill you with joy. I am training you to look for me wherever you are in all situations. And there will be times when you have to look through your circumstances. Don't look at your circumstances. Everybody has been tricked to look at their circumstances. I'm telling you to look through them. And there will be times when you have to look through your circumstances to find signs of my presence. It's like this. Imagine gazing through a dirty window into a gorgeous sun-drenched garden. If you focus on the dirt that's on the glass, you'll miss the exquisite beauty of the garden. If I'm here, right here with you now, and we're in a garden type environment, this planet is got plants that grow and air that we breathe, and if I'm here in a garden with you, where are you exactly? Oh, maybe this garden is a little bit more than we thought. And you want to burn it down? Anyway, imagine, instead of looking at the world, imagine looking at the garden and seeing, I'm here in the garden with you. Uh-oh. Where are you at? If I'm here in the garden with you right now? Okay, if you focus on the dirt that's on the glass, you'll miss the garden. But as you can train your eyes to see the splendor beyond the window, the media, the world, you can see through, and you can see the splendor through beyond the window, which is the garden. You can learn to look through your circumstances then and see my face shining upon you. Seek, and you will find me everywhere. If you do, you will find me everywhere. Okay, I'm training you to look for me everywhere you are in all situations. Why? Because seek and you will find me everywhere. Seek my face shining upon you. Okay. This new way of looking through the dirty glass and seeing the garden. Okay. Quit looking at the world and its circumstances and all the issues that are going on and letting that trip you out. That is the cartoon. Okay? There's characters back behind the cartoon, real life spiritual characters. One of them happens to be in control of everything. His heart is in control of everything. Yeah. Try to wrap your brain around that right there. You're on a planet that sustains life. Okay, I want you to think about this. You're a third rock from a star, right? The only planet that sustains life for about 4 light years in any direction, right? I would say that's like an outpost. That's almost like well, impossible, kind of, but still there and possible. So when you really look and see how special this planet truly is, and if I'm here on this planet with you, where are you exactly? You better think long and hard on that one. Now, once you know this, I know about every one of your troubles. I've collected all your tears and I've preserved them in my bottle. So don't be afraid of tears or of the hardships that cause them. Okay, that's in the future coming up when you're losing loved ones or close friends, all kinds of devastation happen, and you hear, I'm not going to say a certain place, but say a certain city gets wiped out and millions of people, and you had family there. Those would be hardships that would make you cry. And we fear those hardships because we love our family members, right? We don't want to lose them. So we fear hardships of losing them. And I'm trying to tell you, do not be afraid of tears or of the hardships that cause them. Your problems are not random or meaningless. I'm calling you to trust not only in me, but also in my sovereignty. Okay? It's when you know somebody's passed on and they're going to paradise, you're supposed to rejoice, not cry and be upset. When you lose a loved one or somebody close to you, when this stuff happens and goes down, you see mass death, know that don't be afraid of those tears, of those fears, of those hardships, because your problems are not random. They're designed. I know what I'm doing. Okay, because my perspective is infinite, unlimited by time or space, my ways of working in this world are often beyond your comprehension. So if it were possible for you to see things from my God perspective, you would understand the perfection of my will. But that's what we're trying to do here. Slowly get you to see things from my God perspective. Okay? It's not a name, it's a title. God is not a name, it's a title. It's a perspective. Really. It's a new way of seeing things. It's it's a new perspective. It's a God perspective. And it's my perspective. It's my God perspective that it's possible for you to see things from that perspective. You'll understand the perfection of my will. And then you will revel in my glory. You're in glory already. So, I know about every one of your troubles. Your problems are not random. They're not meaningless. It's a test. I'm calling you to trust not only in me, but also in my sovereignty. I know what I'm doing, okay? Just trust. What was the one thing where Q came out and everybody, oh, trust the plan, trust the plan. Well, yeah, trust the plan, okay? Trust the Bible. If you want to know what's going to happen in the future, go read the Bible, okay? That's why it's still around, is so you will know what to expect. And what now you know you'll be going to glory. You're already in glory. If you're here at this show listening to my voice and looking at me right here, you're looking at me right here too. This is my face, my heart, okay? Then you are already in glory. I'm taking you the rest of the way too. All the way. All right, got more. Ooh, yeah, because that can go with this too. So, again, my ways of working in this world are beyond your comprehension sometimes. Not every time. A lot of this stuff you guys are grasping. It's not like I'm calling you dummies, but some of the spiritual realm stuff, how can I explain spiritual things to you when you have problems with the physical? So, we're going to clear up all that stuff so we can get you spiritual from. Okay? And I want you to have that. I want you to have my God perspective. I want you to have it as well, okay? Because then you'll understand the perfection of my will, and you will see that you're in glory right now. But now, well, actually, I can go to this. I've collected your tears in my bottle because you are exceedingly precious to me. What was that word I used? Precious at the opening of the show? Yep. I don't always feel like doing this show, but you guys are precious to me, and I do it for you. Okay? Now, you are precious to me, and someday I will wipe every tear from your eyes, and there will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, and then rejoice in this glorious heavenly future awaiting you. Okay, I want you to hold on real quick here, because right now, I can wipe every tear from your eye. Right now, you won't mourn death. Right now, there can be no more crying. And right now, there can be no more pain. How is that possible? Okay, I'm in excruciating pain right now, but when you embrace it and it makes you tougher and stronger, it's no longer pain, it becomes fuel. So if you're wrap your head around this right now. I have wiped every tear from your eye. I have removed the sting of death and mourning over people who have died. I can take away all the crying. There's no reason to cry. I'm here now, right? And pain has just been turned into fuel. So that whole thing, there will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, is actually possible right now. and rejoice in this glorious heavenly future is still, and that's still awaiting you too. Man, did you guys land at the right channel? And I'm not saying that to boast or my own ego. Is really, you guys you found me. I'm right here too. It's like everybody, oh, it's impossible he'd never be here. No, no, no. I told you, seek my face and you will find me. And now that you have found me, and we're enjoying each other's company, okay? I know all about you. You're getting to know me. And I want you to linger in gratitude. This is the most delightful place where the joy of my presence shines warmly upon you. Okay? I want you to linger in gratitude. It's not a bunch of, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. No, just, hey, it's over. Be thankful. You got victory. Linger in it. Rejoice in it. Be grateful in it. Be delighted in it. I want you to linger in gratitude. This is the delightful place where the joy of my presence as the word made flesh, walking around type presence, because this is reassuring right here, right? When it's flesh and blood walking around, they're the same dude. That should be some reassurance for you guys. Okay? I'm kind of shy. I don't like to show my face all the time. It's always on display in the sky anyway, so I want you to linger in this. Be delighted. Enjoy my presence shining warmly upon you. Sometimes we often pray fervently for something until you receive the answer you desire. When I grant your request, you respond joyfully and thankfully, because you guys recognize I have indeed granted your request, and your response is thankful and joy. So if you're getting a request granted and you're being thankful and you're being joy, you found me. Okay? But your tendency is to move on rather quickly to the next matter. So when I grant your request, you respond joyfully and thankfully, but your tendency is to move on rather quickly to the next matter. I want you to remain for a while in the attitude of grateful joy, like we're doing right now, lingering in gratitude, enjoying my presence. I want you to remain for a while in the attitude of grateful joy. And instead of experiencing only a short-lived burst of gratitude, let this pleasure flow freely into the future. Okay? Now we're protecting the future instead of future tripping. We're going to be praying tonight before we go to bed, or each night before we go to bed, about projecting this security into the next day, into the future, okay? Because you're experiencing only these short-lived bursts of gratitude. I want to teach you how to let this pleasure that you're experiencing right now at the show, I want it to flow freely after the show, into tomorrow, into your dreams, into everything, into the future, by training yourself to recall what I have done. Okay? Boy, I'll be in pain sometimes, and I'll be crying like a little girl. Oh, I don't like this, Lord. Why is it always got to hurt? And then I remember the pain that he went through and all the humiliation, and I could humble me, put me right back oh, just running the parallel course is all. Okay? And that's what you guys are doing too. You're running a parallel course to his life. Aren't you? A lot of you are. You just don't see the ways that you are, but you are. I got one last thing. I want you to remain in this place of attitude and grateful joy. Instead of being short-lived, let it flow into the future by training yourself to recall what I've done. One way is to tell others about it. This blesses both them and you. I've told you many times. When you share this, it blesses both them and you, and it pleases me. Another way is to write down the prayer/answer. Okay. A lot of prayers are answered and you don't recognize you got your prayer answered. So many people give up because they didn't recognize the prayer. They didn't recognize the answer. So you guys need to, when you're praying something, write it down. So when the answer or the prayer gets answered, you can write it right down next to what you asked for. Because when you write those two next to each other, all of a sudden it makes sense. Holy shit, I prayed about that and it happened. Oh, that's when it makes sense, when you've written them down next to each other. And another way is to write down your prayer/answers, someplace where you can see it again and again. You need reminders. Okay, your prayers get answered one day and you're like, oh, cool, God's real and it's all working. And then the next day you totally forget about it. And it's like you need healthy reminders. Okay, healthy ones, not idols, okay? Just healthy reminders that keep bringing your gratitude back to me. And this thankfulness, it's this heart of thankfulness, will bless you doubly with happy memories of answered prayer and with the delight of sharing the joy with me. Okay? I get joy out of answering your prayers. It's a bummer when you don't recognize it was answered. I'm like, oh, dude, I just did it. You asked for it. I just did it. And you don't even acknowledge it. You had no idea. And you move on. And you think, God, man, you never answered that prayer. You know, I really wanted that answered. Well, it was. You just didn't recognize it. So your prayer/answer list is very, very vital for your gratitudes at the end of the night. Throughout the course of my day, I will see something out of the ordinary happen, and I will be like, oh, that's definitely it right there. And I'm going to pray about this. And then later on, after the answer came, later on that night, when I'm doing my list of gratitudes, thank you for answering that prayer there today. That guy was really hating life, and he really needed some help. And I'm so thankful that you were able to bring this person into his life to help him. Okay, so we're doing a lot of spiritual work. We're making progress. It's progress, not perfection. Okay, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Remember, we work best together. It's when you and I work together that we make perfection. Okay, so keep practicing these principles, these disciplines, and you will find happiness. You will find peace. You will find joy that surpasses all your circumstances. You'll have a new perspective on how to look at your situation, problems, mistakes, all that stuff. All turns around and changes now. Mistakes are not mistakes; they're opportunities. I've taken a lot of these things, the sting out of death, the sting out of mourning. If they're a believer, you should celebrate. Another thing is, when you're sharing these maybe you can't share a link with somebody on an email, but if you're out and about and you can pull up one of my videos on your phone, the Christmas gift video, have you ever considered showing somebody in public, hey, look what I found on YouTube? Look at this. And show them that picture so they get to see Jesus in the clouds? Because that's what I've done a few times just out in public, and I've changed many lives just with that one video. Just like I have here at this channel. Really? You're going to fight me like that, huh? There we go. But just like I have, at this channel, the same videos, the same method, you pass that on and they can pass it on and the next person can pass it on, and pretty soon, the more the better, right? All right. I think that might be it. Yeah, because that goes into a next lesson, and I don't want to do that one ever. So we're sticking with that one. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you're practicing. I know a bunch of you are. I see your results, and I can feel them. I can actually breathe a little easier when you guys are getting the results and you're breathing easier, okay? Because it results back to me. When you guys are stressing, I can feel it. I can sense it. So try not to stress so much. Remember the God perspective and look through all your situations. Don't look at them. Look through them. How are you going to work your way through them? How are you going to conquer this next situation, this next problem, the next thing? And if it starts to consume your mind, don't let that consume your mind either. Give it to Jesus. It works. It really works. It's simple stuff, but hard to do, hard to practice, and it's the reminders. It's really about the reminders because there's so many stimuli that just drag your attention away from me like that. As soon as the show's over, you're flipping to the next video or you're looking at the next alert or whatever. But later on in the day, when something's egging you or bugging you, that's when you stop what you're doing. Take a few deep breaths. Remember me. We're working on salvaging our day. Take a few moments to regain composure and then proceed. Okay? And you'll ask when, how long. How long should I sit here? I'll tell you, you need time out for at least 5 minutes, dude. You're going to go, maybe I should sit here for like 5 minutes. So you do. You sit there for 5 minutes and you're thinking, well, it could be worse. I could be bleeding out right now. It could be worse. It could be up to my head in, tornadoes. There's all sorts of different ways to work through your circumstances. Look through them, not at them. Because when you look at them, that's what stresses you out. When you look at it like, this is my challenge. I can do this. And, I got Jesus' help, I'm not going to let it irk me, or I'm not going to fear it. All right. And trust me, I'm going through this stuff alongside you as well. All right. I'm a man, I'm a person with feelings, and I have a family, and I go through the same trials in life that you guys are, right? And I've written down what I've learned from experience, and I share my notes with you guys to pass on knowledge. Okay? Now, what you do with that knowledge is up to you. That's called wisdom. Whether to take your knowledge and do something with it, or to take your knowledge and flush it down the toilet. There's two different things. One is knowledge, one is wisdom, knowing what to do with the knowledge, and the other, well, could just be a big waste of your time. So don't waste your time. We're running out. It's very important that you enjoy your time, that you live full and vibrant during this time, okay, and try to bring as much love, forgiveness, and understanding and acceptance during these times that you can to other people who don't understand yet, okay? And something else we need to touch base on. As the same 20 that keep being here at this same time frame every time, oh, not yet. Oh, I was gonna say something about it. All right, you guys are making good progress, and you're actually practicing these principles. How do I say it? I can't say that yet. Okay, well, I guess I have to save this next message for when you guys are ready here. So, yeah, you guys are doing awesome. You're making progress. It's progress, not perfection. If you're not getting it right away, there's different people catch on at different speeds, at different paces. Some people are slow learners, one little step at a time. Other people get it all at once. That's fine. Don't give up. Don't leave before the miracle happens. Because at this show, something special does indeed happen if you give it a chance. Okay? Very important that you guys practice these, you find your peace, you give it a chance. Oh, man, I can't say that. All right. Well, that's it for tonight then. I love you all. I miss you all. And until my next show, I will be back, okay? I'm already back. All right? I love you guys. That's why I do this. Because I love you. All right? You're my family. You are. You guys out there in YouTube land, I'm actually in your living room with you, aren't I? Yep. Yep. You came here because you were fascinated by what you see in the clouds. You see me in the clouds and you're caught up with me in the clouds. And if you're caught up with me in the clouds and you met me in the air of cyberspace, which is YouTube here live, well, then that means you're raptured. Technically, the word's not in the Bible, but, well, let's just say you didn't miss out. And a lot of people have this expectation that Hollywood put out there, and they're going to feel like they missed out. It's important that you guys who understand tell people the rapture is happening right now. It's if you know what to look for, right? Because it is. The rapture is happening right now. If you're caught up with me in the clouds, isn't it? So, you guys technically have been raptured, which is a feeling inside your heart. It's not a levitating up into the air like Hollywood portrays. No, it's having that feeling right there in your heart now. Now you're walking on cloud 9 because you know your destination is going to be with me forever in heaven. Pretty cool, huh? Now you can breathe easy and rejoice. If you trust me and believe me, you can. If you don't trust me and you don't believe me, well, then it's going to be a little hard to rejoice. See how that works, right? So, it is indeed true. It cost me a lot dearly. It still does to this very day, this very moment. It's very painful, but I enjoy it. It's what I do. I fight for you guys, all right? I fight for you guys because I love you, all right? And no matter what happens around this world and things might get scary, it's still coming from a place of love. And if you believe and trust, you're going to be protected anyway. So there's some protection too. You see hurricanes tearing down this place and that place, yet there's one house still standing out of all them 20. That'll be your house, the 1 out of 20 that'll be standing still. Because you have a guarantee. You have a guarantee. Victory has already been won. I already overcame this world. And now I'm back to help you guys overcome this world and join me in glory. Okay? I am here with you in the garden right now. That would place you in Think about that. And if you love me, well, then you would be in heaven. If you hate me, well, then this place would look like hell, wouldn't it? It's all your perspective, really. Did you know that? Well, now you do. I love you all. I miss you all. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. And I miss you all. Bye. Till my next show. Bye.